They don't represent you. Democrat leaders are diabolically bad. Diabolical as in the devil is in them. Because, look, they're out of their minds. I'll be charitable with some. They might have common sense still, but they're too craven, too afraid to act on it. Example A, my Connecticut legislatures, progressive Democrats, have passed enabling legislation so that boys who briefly consider themselves to be girls, they're not in the skin that they feel they should be, that they now should be able to compete against girls and win medals from real girls in track and field and any other sport that they want. A legislature is meant to give wisdom and common sense regulations, but our Democrats won't stand up to the few forces, and there aren't many, but they're loud, and they get their crazy way. Here's another. Defund the police. That's the leadership's mantra right now. I have been calling and visiting with families in Hartford where there's fairly high crime. They do not want to defund the police. These are families who will be the first to suffer from thuggery, to suffer from domestic violence, to suffer from shakedowns, takedowns, muggings, and rapes. And your leaders want to defund the police. Cities need more police. Look, there is a true correlation and a causation. More police presence lessens crime. Why is crime in Avon and Glastonbury so much lower than in Hartford? Because per call, Avon and Glastonbury actually staff significantly more police than in Hartford. There is a presence, and they're not afraid to bust heads when somebody is really out of line. That's good for everyone in town, except the thugs. That's good for women who might be victims of bastards who are using domestic violence. That is good for people who want to go about their lives and not have drugs being pushed at them illegally. And that is good for families that want to just go out, play, shop, not feel like their own safety is in jeopardy. People don't walk with a askance eye in the suburbs, but they have to in Hartford because they can't be sure that police are around. They probably aren't, to protect them. And here come generally white progressives saying, oh, we should get rid of police altogether. Please get rid of them. This tiny minority of progressives that are breathing and getting fuel from media. And yes, some big corporations. They're feeding progressives because progressives have another awful element that unfortunately helps big corporations. They're big statists. And when there's state power to protect those who are already up on high, those on high keep it going with more campaign donations, with more good deals for those who vote their way. So it is an extremely unholy alliance. And thank goodness there are a few, hopefully growing, people who recognize this. In my part of Hartford, it's in the North End, that there are people who are, on the whole, not well off. But they recognize that the government is not their friend when it's run by statist Democrats. I've been campaigning on 3 big issues, and it's so interesting to look back at 24 years ago, a presidential debate, one with dignity back then, and the same 3 issues shine forth by one candidate named Bill Clinton. Second question to him at the 8-minute mark. you will see him wax well about jobs and civility and getting better welfare, which generally means no handouts, you've got to work for things. Do those things, and Hartford gets better. Do those things, and Connecticut becomes a better attractor to improve its own economy. That debate, by the way, October 6, 1996, took place in Hartford. Bob Dole versus incumbent President Clinton. That was a debate with dignity. Raucous screaming, today's style, does not have dignity. Unfortunately, media cover it when there's volume but no backing, no good reasoning, feeling instead of thoughtfulness. That rules many dispositions, and media cover that as if it is good, newsworthy events. They should be getting back to covering real thinkers and doers who have the whole interest in stake, not those on the far fringe that want to help just a small group of fellow fringers, maybe some big corporations to boot, and leave the rest of us behind.